Hi everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for clicking on the video. And today I wanted to talk about the interview that Bobbie Brown is going to do tonight on ABC's 2020 with Robin Roberts. Apparently Bobbie has decided to sit down and discuss, what happened during the time that his daughter Bobbi Christina was in that coma. And the reason why I wanted to do this video is because just looking at the clips from that interview and reading some things online today about Bobbi, I believe that Bobbi has done a lot of growing up. And what I mean by that is that in the past, when you would see Bobby interviewed or see him, making his way on a red carpet or something, it always appeared to me that Bobby didn't take any responsibility in anything that was going on. That's just my opinion. Now, with that opinion, I'm also not one of those people that believe that everything that happened to Whitney Houston was because she married Bobbie Brown. Now, in the beginning, when I first heard that she was going to marry him, like everyone else, I didn't think it was a good idea. Even early on, when we started seeing that there were problems with Whitney, I, like everyone else, attributed it to her marriage to Bobbie Brown. But as I got older and I grew up a little bit, I realized that you can love someone and marry someone, but they can't make you do something that you don't want to do. We all have now heard how strong of a personality that Whitney Houston had, and I don't believe that Bobbi changed who she was. I believe that she came into that relationship, with whatever problems that she had, and he came into it with the problems that he had. I believe that them together was not a good mix. That's what I believe. I believe that they just weren't good for each other. I don't fault her and I don't fault him. I fault the both of them together. But what I realized when I watched the Oprah Winfrey interview with Whitney is that Whitney had problems, and I think even on that interview, Whitney, admitted that it wasn't Bobby that got her on drugs. So with all of that in mind, I thought about Bobby's interview tonight, and Bobby talks about that that he and Whitney could have done a better job when they were raising Bobbi Christina. He claims that they never let her see them doing drugs, that basically they didn't want that to happen. Now, I find it hard to believe, with as many drugs as they both claim that they were doing, that Bobbi Christina never saw anything or even at a certain age became aware of what they were doing. Because as we know, kids know and see more than what we believe that they do. And also to think that, with all the rumors that were out in the world, that at a very young age, Bobbi Christina didn't have some inkling of what was going on with her parents, it is a little naive for him to even think that she didn't know. Now, the reason why I think that Bobby has done a lot of growing up, Bobby has been through a lot in his life himself. I've never really been a fan of his. I liked New Edition, the group as a whole, but not any one of them individually. So I wasn't on that, Bobby Brown train. I never have been. I'm not going to say I didn't like a couple of the songs that he put out, but I just really wasn't that into him. When I watched him, a couple of the clips that were released by 2020, and he talked about having to tell Bobbi Christina to let go and go be with her mom. He said that it was the hardest thing that he ever had to do. And I believe him. I believe that despite whatever problems him and Whitney had, that he truly loved his daughter. A lot of people have talked about that Bobby wasn't the best father that he could have been. But in his case, and this is no defense for Bobby, I believe he was the best father that he knew how to be. Whether we thought that he was doing a good job when it came to Bobbi Christina after Whitney died, is irrelevant. He knows what was going on behind the scenes, and only he will have to deal with what he did or did not do regarding his responsibilities as a parent for Bobbi Christina. Now, he also is going to talk about the role that he believes that Nick Gordon played in what happened to Bobbi Christina. From what I read and the clips that have been released, Bobbie Brown says that when Whitney died, that Nick Gordon was around, and that when Bobbi Christina died, Nick Gordon was around. And Bobby leads you to believe that he believes that Nick Gordon had something to do with it. Now, whether that is true will be, once all the investigation is done, we will eventually find out one way or the other whether he did. But with that in mind, Bobby has joined forces with the attorneys for Bobbi Christina to file a lawsuit, a wrongful death lawsuit against Nick Gordon. Now, as a parent, I'm all with Bobby, because when Bobby talks about having to say goodbye to his daughter, and from the clip that I saw when he breaks down, it is genuine emotion. He is definitely mourning the loss of his child, and with that, he probably has a lot of emotions on what he could have done, what he should have done, and it's probably eating him alive that, his daughter is gone, and he feels that he failed her in some way. And I'm just curious to see, what he says about he and Whitney's relationship as opposed to what he said in the past, because now that I'm older, and after all of these biographies have been done about Whitney Houston, and I don't mean the movie, because I think the movie was pure bullshit. I mean the biographies that you've watched, concerning her life. Like I said, I don't believe that Bobby is like the main reason why Whitney ended up on drugs. I believe that they both had problems, and when they got together, it was an explosion of problems. Sometimes you can have problems and you meet a guy that calms you, or you meet a girl that where you're weak, they're strong. I think in these two individuals' cases, Whitney and Bobby, that they were just each other's detriment. They loved each other, but they just weren't good together. Because if nothing else, I truly believe that these two loved each other. Now, I'm curious to see, with all the speculation out in the media on what happened to that baby, Bobbi Christina, what is true and what is fiction. Because my personal opinion is, and especially with them saying that Bobbi Christina had, old bruises on her, and that there was proof of domestic violence against her, and you know, a couple of her friends talking about how Nick Gordon did lay hands on her, you know, maybe physical abuse towards her. I believe that. I don't know if I believe that he murdered her. I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't believe it, but I believe that maybe the relationship with him, and you know, still in mourning over the death of her mother, caused Bobbi Christina to be in a depression. You know, things weren't going great with him, um, and I believe that with her still in mourning, you know, with the problems that she was having with her boyfriend, the media, and, you know, all the things that were coming out about her mother, and also mourning the death of her mother, I think it made it hard on that young woman. And she got into drugs and drinking and, you know, using probably illegal prescription meds, or I'm sorry, prescription meds, and it led to her demise. Now, as far as Nick Gordon, I am so torn because on the one hand, I believe that he has some role in it. I don't know what the role was, but my gut tells me that it's just a little coincidence that, you know, he was there when Whitney died, and then he was there when Bobbi Christina died, and their deaths were so similar. That's the part that is leaves you a little like, oh my God, what is this? I could see if Whitney died in the tub, but Bobbi Christina died maybe in the bed. But for them both to have died, you know, in a tub, it just seems a little odd. So I'm looking forward to seeing this interview Bobbie Brown is going to do tonight. He claims he's no longer doing drugs, but he does have a problem with, you know, still with alcohol. His new wife is also going to speak about, you know, the person that he is today. And he even made a, you know, a comment about having sex with a ghost. He said he bought this house that was really spooky and scary, and that he woke up and to find a ghost mounting him. So he's not, you know, so pulled together. He still has his issues because I don't know if you know, he woke up and a ghost was actually you know, trying to have sex with him. And apparently the whoever Robin Roberts, when she was interviewing him, she must have asked him if he was high during this time, and he said that he wasn't. So if you are around ABC tonight, Tuesday night, around 10 p.m., catch him on 2020, because I'm pretty sure it may not answer all of our questions, but maybe it would answer some of our questions about Bobbi Christina. Because when I think about the way that that little girl's last couple years were, and then, you know, her being found unresponsive and lingering all those months in that coma, I feel sorry for her on the one hand. I really do. My heart goes out to her because she was just a baby. You know, when you're 20 years old, 21, you're at the very beginning of adulthood. But then on the other hand, you know, because she was mourning her mom so badly, and that she couldn't seem to find happiness here on earth, I'm glad that she's with her mom. And you know, I'm pretty sure that when she left this earth, Whitney was there waiting, you know, to receive her. So tonight at 10 p.m., 2020, it's Bobbie Brown, y'all. Thanks for watching the video, and you have a great day. Bye-bye now.